It's
I thought it was Bacardi.
Bacardi is rum.
Yeah.
But it's expensive Bacardi, not shitty Bacardi. Yeah. But it's like, it's Bacardi
You
and
want the
Tab.
most 80s drink you can think of? Fucking Tab. Number one, Tab. They don't make Tab no more.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
It gets brought back every now and then.
It's one
Crystal
of those like
Pepsi.
Okay,
it's like Crystal
Pepsi.
Enough. It gets brought back every now and then now. Because the same thing happened with like a big petition to get Crystal Pepsi. There was a big petition to get Tab.
In my life, I've had one Tab.
It's fucking disgusting.
I've had one Tab.
Tab is gross. But after looking at this, I'm like, I really need to try a Bacardi and Tab.
I can go for a Tab.
Yeah.
It rumble, rumble, rumble. Mm-hmm. His fucking doors explode.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a gun at this point.
Yep.
And it's Lou Hayward, his old boss.
Yep.
And he shoots him. Ba-bam!
Bang,
Ba-blam!
bang, bang, bang.
He's saying bang as he's shooting him.
He goes a little bit Jack Nicholson Joker on him, even though this predates it. And it's just sort of like, and then I do enjoy
Don't care what happens to me, Frank.
Yeah, but go easy on the Bacardi.
Yeah.
A man with priorities. I respect that.
Drinks, and of course the whole thing of like falling out of the holes.
Yeah, which was the second movie to do that this year. And also to be scored by Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
It's a little bit fucking on the nose.
The mouse with a golf ball in his brain.
Which is cool.
He evicts the golf ball from his brain and then climbs back in his brain.
Well, maybe he was done with it.
Basically says, you will be visited by 3 ghosts, and you need to change your ways. You can't be like me. Look at me. I was a titan of industry. I had power. I had women. Oh, come on. You paid for the women.
That sounds like a fucking... an ad-lib.
Yeah.
That really sounds like an ad-lib.
Oh, Lou, you paid for the women.
Yeah. Like, it's too perfect.
And he finishes it off by grabbing him by the fucking neck,
holding
him up,
beautiful.
Walking him out,
pushing him
morphing him through the window.
Mm-hmm. And he's hanging there. And
don't let me go, Lou.
Frank's like, don't let me go, don't let me go. And he's grabbing a hold of his arm, but as he's grabbing, pieces of it are falling out, and it pulls off.
It's a great practical effect.
Yeah, just beautiful. And then he falls. And then when he lands...
Into his chair,
and he's in his office. Oh.
And then the phone calls itself, and it calls... We find out later Claire, his ex-girlfriend, and...
He responds, it gets her machine. He just says, like, sort of, like a thing of, like, I'm scared, I've got to... I
don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened, but I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
I know it's been... I like this. I know it's been, he looks at his watch, 15 years since we talked. But I really need to talk to you. And
I do like the line of just like, you're a hallucination. And
brought on by alcohol. What was the rest of that?
Russian
Russian
vodka.
And KGB.
No, like poisoned by Chernobyl.
Right.
Again, 80s as fuck.
Yeah. I wanted to include that whole thing in the I ran out of
But he's like Russian vodka. I'm like, he was drinking Bacardi.
He was drinking Bacardi. So,
yeah. Unless he has vodka at the bar as well.
Later, he drinks vodka.
Yeah.
Later, he does drink vodka.
We meet Grace's family, and, like, the fucking cutest thing. Like, well, first off, like, where's your bonus? I'm drying my hair with it.
Yeah.
And, they're lighting the tree. We don't have a tree. We do now.
And then she just
goes,
oh, damn it,
she knows what happened.
And she sees him, and she's half smiling and going, don't plug him in.
And they
don't plug him in.
His fucking face is adorable. Because it's just like, this, Mom,
like,
help me.
Why? I can't tell them to stop. But clearly, this has happened before.
Oh, yeah.
They've done this many times.
It's fucking adorable. We find out that the Scrooged had killed a lady.
Yeah.
Straight up killed an old lady.
Yep.
And it says, like, this old lady dead on, like, the front cover, and a picture of this, like, old grandma.
And I like
is that the picture of her?
Yeah. Well, I just like how he's like, well, she's pretty. Who is that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, she's the one who died. And
she's
like,
dead, Frank.
Oh, my God. This is fantastic. I want it bumped up every half hour.
And then she calls, like, I think this is later on in the movie. They're calling to get a story.
Yeah.
Like their opinion of what happened.
Yeah.
And he's like,
what did
he say?
He starts out with something like really insensitive, and then he goes, "Oh, gee, well, it's a tragedy, and we're very sorry.
Yeah, he's like, don't you say.
Yeah.
No, it's like, must have been something she ate.
Oh, yeah.
He says it must be something she ate. He grabs the phone, it's like, you idiot.
Yeah.
We here at ABC are very destroyed about this, and we're doing, all thoughts and prayers to our family and all that, and it hangs up quick. And Claire shows up.
Yes.
Because they're on the set now. Scrooge is getting going, and I guess they're just doing rehearsals.
If you're going to do a live show, which they clearly are, you have to run through this like 30 or 40 times. So they're just going through it, and he's complaining, he's bitching and moaning,
the censor shows up because they have like basically a solid gold dancers type.
Yeah, it's like Solid Gold Dancers meets like Soul Train.
Yeah,
like they're hip hop influenced, but they're Solid Gold. Like it's just weird.
The dance leader. Looks like James Brown.
Yeah,
and he's got like Jerry curls. Like,
this is just
need to see it, Frankie. It's hot. It's hot.
And I like the response where she's just like,
you can see her nipples.
You can see her nipples. I want to see her nipples
because he brings two union guys over. Can you see her nipples? Oh, you can barely see their nipples,
and they're really looking.
So come on. I'm like, by the way, you can totally see her nipples.
Oh, absolutely. and he's just like, but you show the whole thing. So they start showing the whole thing, and I think this is where my favorite line comes in, where he just sort of goes, oh, no, sorry. She shows up.
Yeah.
Claire shows up. And he just sort of goes, like, looks at her, and he changes. Completely changes.
He does. He's not Frankie. He's not Frank Cross anymore. He's lumpy. And he looks at her, and it's just, we're done. And then you look the same. Yeah. It's like, your hair's shorter. You look older.
I don't think I've ever seen your hair this short and things like that. And they're having some sort of she's just like, I had to come because I heard that, I know your voice. That was Scared Lumpy. And all the while, people are constantly coming up to him. Oh, by the way, the censors lady got hit in the face with a
he's like, because he's trying to talk to her, but they're hammering. He's like,
with the goddamn hammering. And then, so, the guy comes up with a mouse.
Because, the little dormouse because of the cats.
Yeah, because the cats, he's like, can we have a mouse? Like, yeah, sure. And he's like,
dormouse.
Yeah. So, he's like, the
excuse me, Lumpy.
Lumpy?
Around here, people call me Mr. Cross.
Sorry, I'm new. These, I
just love the earnestness of excuse me. It's like, well, she called you Lumpy, that must be your name.
Yeah. Excuse me, Lumpy.
The antlers can't go in the...
Can I get a t-shirt that just says, excuse me, Lumpy? Just saying. Anyway, she's like, yeah, the antlers won't stay on the mice's head. It was like, well, have you tried staples?
You wouldn't, Lumpy. I wouldn't dare dream of stapling this at his poor little mouse.
Because she doesn't just yell at him, she yells at the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you dare. He's like, I would never do that.
Yeah.
And then, so he's losing his shit. And then at the goddamn hammering, because the goddamn hammering won't stop. And I don't know how we get to the censors lady getting hit with the because Claire kind of just pieces out. Oh yeah, no,
they hold the goddamn hammering, okay, and then the whole set falls apart.
Yeah, because I think she pieces out because she's like, we'll talk later because clearly you're busy. Because he's yelling at everybody and because
the final piece hits the censor lady and she goes, oh shit.
Yeah,
you know what the funny thing is? The nurse, that's Mimi from Drew Carey show.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's Mimi from Drew Carey show.
I didn't even notice. I mean, it makes sense, but it didn't even notice.
And then we see Calvin, and this is where Frank finds Calvin. He's like, "Who are you?
Who are you?" And they're like, "Well, if you're not going to talk, then maybe you'll talk downtown." And then all of a sudden, I can't remember her name. Grace comes in and goes, "That's my son." And he says the greatest line that I forget every year, but every time I hear it, it makes me laugh my ass off. Because he's just like, "What are you doing? Like, maybe you'll talk downtown. That's my son." Well, then you beat him.
Yeah, like Jesus.
Like, that is one of the greatest deliveries ever because it is so fast, you would almost miss it.
Lumpy.
And it makes me laugh so fucking hard.
So then he just pieces out because he can't be done. He's got to go to lunch with Preston, and then Bryce shows up.
Yeah, he's got a lunch.
And, I'll take a highball because it's like an 80s businessman.
I'll take a highball, and that's what 80s businessmen drink. He was like, I'll have one too. Probably don't even know what one is.
Oh.
And then this is where Bryce pops in.
Yep.
And he orders, of course, Pellegrino with a twist because you can't order anything more California than that bullshit.
Yep. And Frank starts to get visions. There's an eyeball in the glass, and he's freaking out.
We find out that asshole Bryce is there because he's there to take the load off of Frank. Basically being, Frank's fucking up, we're going to replace you, this is the guy going to replace you. That's what this is.
Also, the mustache on the waiter is
spectacular.
Par excellence, by the way.
As you know on this show, we appreciate a damn good mustache.
I do like he corrects his grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Is it he? Who is him?
Who is him, sir?
Because he sees an eyeball in the glass, like an actual fucking eyeball with the retina attached.
Yeah,
and,
and
Jesus.
bleeding, and it's it's in his water glass, and he's freaking the fuck out. He goes, "Okay, well," because nobody else, of course, sees this, and he's, "Well, we'll just take this away then."
And fire, and it's like, that's a baked Alaska, sir. You wouldn't want that.
Yeah, well, basically what he's seeing is not the baked Alaska, it's the waiter's arm is on fire.
Well, no, he sees it initially, and then said baked Alaska sets the guy's arm on fire, and then he is entirely engulfed in flames.
Yes.
And on the way out, he throws water on him.
Well, that's the thing. Frank basically goes, "I need to get some air," because they're looking at him like he's insane.
Yeah,
while
he's starting to just hyperventilate.
Yeah, because it starts with Bryce trying to tell him I'm here to help and take the thing off you and whatever. I'm here to learn from you and all this stuff. And then that's when he started going a little bit nuts because his brain is starting to process all of this shit at the same time. So he basically is just I need to get out of here. I think I'll have some air. And then he gets up to walk away. Picks up a bucket and throws it.
My favorite line of the movie. I'm sorry. I thought you were Richard Pryor. And then he slips on the way out.
Yeah,
and
he slips on the water
and then leaves.
Yeah.
Jesus, you don't get out of everything 80s in this movie. You don't get much more 80s than that reference.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking 80s.
Taxi.
And he's
going to get a regular cab, and then another cab crashes into that cab, and you can tell something's off because it's like an old school cab.
Yeah, it's an old checker cab, which you don't see anymore.
Gets in, and it's I'm the ghost.
I'm the ghost, which was basically there for the trailer.
Yeah.
Which is why I had to include it in the intro, because I'm like, yeah, that's the trailer line. It's got to be there.
So it's the Ghost of Christmas Past. Mm-hmm. While they're going back in time to 1955, this is another weird thing that happens throughout this movie.
Yeah,
the ghost interacts with other people.
Yeah,
he can when he wants to. Stealing Elliot's booze.
Yeah, so Elliot finally has a new bottle and unscrews it. And he's about to take a drink when it's grabbed by the ghost. And
see ya, sucker!
Yeah. And I do enjoy the thing where he's got the cigar and he turns his entire body to Frank and just goes, "Mind if I smoke? Smoke, smoke, smoke. Just drive."
Goes through cars, goes through time, ends up in 1955 he's like, "Take me home." "You got it, pal."
Got it, pal. And he does. He takes him to his old house from when he was a kid.
And then it's one of those things where the entire street is lit except for Frank's house.
Yeah, and he just goes, "Well, I guess Dad just sort of didn't put up the Christmas lights." "Yes, it's Christmas Eve, Frank. Come on. Who do you think you're fooling here?" So he goes in, and he starts to go in, and he's like, "What?" So I get it. I'm going to go in, and you're going to think I'm going to be bald.
I'll see my mom.
I'll see my mom, and I'm going to be bald. Well, I'm not that easy. And he goes, "Frank, I brought
Attila the Hun.
And when he saw his mother, Niagara Falls. It'll happen to you, too." Like, uh-huh.
Morphs through the door.
So then
Frank tries to morph through the door.
And smacks into it.
I love that bit.
You're hilarious.
Opens the door.
Goes, he's like, "Be quiet." "Okay. I'm kidding. They can't hear you. Yeah. They can't see you. We can't interact."
It's like a rerun.
Yeah.
And we meet his mother, and we see little Frankie
watching TV.
His dad comes home from the butcher shop. He's a butcher.
Throws down. He's like, "I got a Christmas present."
Played by his older brother.
Played by Brian Doyle Murray.
2 weeks in a row. By the way,
I mean, the man. So he throws him down. A package, and he just sort of goes, "It's a Christmas present."
5 pounds.
"What is it? A choo-choo?" "No, it's 5 pounds of milk-fed veal." "I wanted a choo-choo." "Then go out and buy one."
"I'm sick and tired of people excuses. My back hurts. My legs hurt. I'm only 4. Like, what a fucking asshole. Jesus.
Oh, Brian Doyle Murray.
And then he fucking lights a smoke and lays down on the couch. I'm like, first off, you've been dealing with meat all day, buddy. You go shower.
But it's back in the day. And
although I like it, his mother's pregnant with James, and she's smoking because it's 1955.
1950, and that's just what happened.
And we get the whole, she goes to bed, and
she's
Merry Christmas, Frankie Angel.
Don't watch TV too late, which is very important. And he's like, "I won't, Mommy." And she's, "Merry Christmas, Frankie Angel," and blows him a kiss.
"Merry Christmas, Mommy."
And then you cut to fucking, Frank, and he's, of course, bawling his eyes out.
Niagara Falls.
Everybody would do that. And it's just like, yeah, fuck you. All right, fine.
And then when he leaves, he's like, "Of course I'm crying. I was touched by a gift. What could go for at least $40 or $50 on the market of quality meat."
to be fair, he's right. Even though I don't like veal.
And then he starts like explaining like his life. I had a life, and then he explains some things.
He starts explaining television things.
Yeah, and it's like that was
TV. Yeah, because even one of them is so obvious. Where he's just like,
you're so ridiculous. That was great. What was it?
Well, I can't remember what the first one was, but the second one, he's just like, well,